Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. So I had this beautiful book, Nostalgia by Green Ivy, brought for me. I don't know who sent it, it was anonymous, and I showed it in my last haul. And after our mammoth session in the last beautiful Clara Markova book, I thought we'd do a page in here and have something a little bit more sedate. So the page I've chosen is this one. So you get, if you haven't seen the book before, it's absolutely magical for a start, but you get a page to copy if you want to, and then a page to colour. Oh gosh, I've got so much junk on my desk. Well, I say junk, it's all colouring supplies, so not junk, but you know what I mean. Yeah, so you get to copy the picture, and I thought actually, looking at this, there isn't too much going on that we couldn't do quite quickly, she says. So, well, since I've got the Prismas out from our last colour along, and there were colours out from the last colour along that we would need to do her little apron, I thought we'd carry on with them if that's okay. And plus the fact in this book I want to use more, what's the word, light fast. More pencils that would be more light fast. I know it's a book and it's going to be closed, but these, oh gosh, just chucked my pencil sharpener across the room, but these are the sorts of books that I would like to keep and maybe hand down, you know, so the longer the colours last, the better. So I'm going to have to zoom you in so you can see, so you'll have to, you're going to miss this page for a bit, and when we zoom back out in between, you'll be able to see it. You'll have to excuse my knuckles. No, I haven't been bare fist fighting. I've been putting up a bookshelf, and it's a rotating bookshelf. It rotates 360 degrees, and it's taken me days to put it up because I'm determined that I was going to do it by myself. Yeah, so I've kind of mashed myself up a little bit, but yeah, definitely not been, it does look like I've been bare fist fighting. What it is where I've been doing the screwdriver, and it's been bashing against the side of this cupboard, and obviously my skins and hands are sensitive, so anyway, I'll stop banging on. Let me bring you in so you can see this gorgeous little lady. Okay, there's a good shot of her. So at the moment I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 colours and white. So nothing majorly worrying. I've got light umber, and these are the colours we had before: beige sienna, seashell pink, 10% French grey, and white. So we're going to try and do, I'm going to try and do her little apron in these colours. So I'm going to very scaredily start at this fold here, because this is a little bit lighter, so I'm going in with my 10% French grey. Now last time I did a page in here, let me show you, if I can find it. Now you'd thought I could find it because I watercoloured it. Was this one, and I watercoloured underneath, so this will be the first page that I've done with just pencils. Well, it's only my second page in the book, but the paper is so delicious that I'm sure it will handle it just fine. So I'm just going to go all over this with 10% French grey, avoiding those little petals. So you probably won't pick anything up on camera right now. We'll just focus on one little area at a time. Okay, now I am going to go in with, I was just looking, beige sienna. Let's try beige sienna. And I want to put the beige sienna just in where the darkest spots are. And I'm just copying Green Ivy's picture. I got, this was on my wish list, so this came from Amazon UK. I don't know if there's any more, but I know they've got it on Etsy. Can you see? Yeah. I know they've got it on Etsy. It was pricey on Amazon, which is why I'm so grateful. Okay, then this bit, where am I? Kind of losing my track. That bit's much darker in there. Okay, and then we've got a little bit of a crease up here. And you know, if you've followed my channel for any length of time, you know that I absolutely love trying to recreate other people's artwork. I love it. Just for me, it takes all the stress and brain work out of picking colours, and you can just thoroughly enjoy just colouring. Okay, so that was beige sienna. Let's go in with a little bit of seashell pink now, and we'll blend that through. And I'm just really lightly colouring it. So I'm going where I've put that beige sienna and just going over that. So I walked into town the other day, the sun was shining, and I had to get out. I just, you know, had to get out for a bit. I walked into town, which is really rare for me because I struggle with any length of walking really. And just, well, I'd got it in my head I was going to have a look at the Caran d'Ache Supra colours in our local WH Smiths, because online they showed that they'd got them. So I walked down and was like, there's the Works is down there, so I popped in the Works and had a look and little bits like that. I'm just switching back to the 10% French grey now. Yeah, just smoothed through the shops. Went to WH Smith's. Oh, it was just a load of rubbish. Well, it's not. It's a lovely shop. It got some nice stuff in there, but not what I was looking for. No Supra colours. I just went to have a look at them, and there was no Supra colours on the shelf, much to my disgust and dismay. So on the way back, I popped into the pound shop. Now, my little garden, I've got a little patch of garden that I tend to, and I really enjoy it. Just going in with a bit of white now, just to knock back anywhere that I might have got a little bit dark. Yeah, and I really enjoy it. I've not got much going. I've got a little rose. I've got, or a couple of little roses. I've got a red one, a white one, and a pink one. Rose bushes. A blue hydrangea. What else have I got? Oh, clematis. So little bits going on. Fuchsia bush. Little bits going on. Not anything much really that needs too much tending. Anyway, so I popped into the pound shop, and on the shelf was this row of rose bushes, cut down, covered in wax, and this one little one was just sort of straggly on the side of the shelf, desperately trying to have these. It got these little tiny buds on it. Trying to poke through this what looked like dead wood, and it was a blue purple one for £2, and I thought to myself, do you know what, I'm going to rescue this little guy. So I did. I paid the £2. Sorry, this is seashell pink, and I'm just going to lightly go over the whole of the back of her apron, really lightly, so I don't want that too dark. And I rescued this little guy. And I came straight home, and I put it, instead of putting it in the garden, I put it in a pot to start with. I will plant it in the garden, but I put it in a little pot with some bone meal and some really good potting compost, soil, whatever you want to call it. So that was at the beginning of the week, and I went out today because it was not quite warm. Went out today and did a little garden inspection, made sure everything was going on, made sure everything was okay and happy out there, and it's got shoots on it already. It's like loving life out there, so I can't wait. So I'm just gonna I'm just going to let it sort of establish itself a little bit more, and then I will put it in the ground. I don't want to sort of shock it into, I don't know what, shock it into what, I don't know. But I'm just trying to work out what this bit is. So there's those folds, there's this bit. Okay, so under here, now this is light umber. Under here, I'm going over those lines with the light umber. And yeah, so I don't want to shock it into, I don't know what I'm trying to say really. But I'm just gonna give it let's let it build up a little bit more strength out there. And then I'm so excited. This poor little plant. I am a real sucker for the underdog, I have to say. And it's just been pushed to the side. This poor little plant, not getting any light, and doing its best to survive. And I just thought, I can't leave you there. I'm going to have to take you home and nurse you back to full health. And so I'm so pleased that I did. I did it before with another tree. We had a little miniature flowering cherry. My mum and dad had taken me for one of my birthdays to choose a little tree that Dad was going to plant for me. And I chose the broken one, and it's thrived. It's doing really well. So it's very exciting. I know I'm sad. That's just my exciting bit of news there. I'm just very pleased with myself. A, that I rescued something, and B, that it's loving its life finally. I dread to think what trauma it's been through to get onto the pound shop shelf floor, and just being left there. I don't like, its root was wrapped in like cling film, and then the whole entire plant was sort of waxed over. I don't know what that's for. Is that, I presume, to stem growth until it gets put in the ground? I'm not sure. But yeah, so I dread to think what trauma they go through before somebody buys them, or if indeed anybody ever eventually does, because they just look so forlorn and like they'll never do anything. So there's my little, that was my little good deed for the day, or the year. So I'm just going around now with our light umber, putting in all the shadows and just copying the picture really. I'm going to put a couple of little creases up here where the skirt might dip in, and maybe pull some down here. It doesn't show this in the image, but sometimes I think I can't help myself. So I might just put a little bit there and run that over that line. Like that. Bring that out a little bit more softly. So this book was from Amazon. I think it was about £40 if I remember correctly. But when you think, if you have one shipped from Etsy to the UK, you have these books shipped. That's about standard, isn't it? A Clara Markova book is 50. Oh, talking of Clara Markova. My goodness. Right, I'm going in with the seashell pink now. Since I was so blessed from Heather sending me the 3 Clara Markova books, I've been obsessed trying to find Clara's first 2 books. So, I always get it confused. I don't know, I think it's Magical Delights, isn't it? The very first one. And then, what's the one I'm thinking of has got like a big pink open flower on it. Tenderful Enchantments, maybe? I get them confused. Well, anyway, I've been searching for them. And I went on eBay and found Tenderful Enchantments, I think it is. The pale blue one with the open pink flower on the front. And so I messaged her, because it said that they'd got some pages coloured, and said, can I see, please, which the pages that are coloured? Because I thought, well, can I can I rescue them? Can I put my own spin on them? All that kind of thing. 10% French grey now. You know, all the things that you'd be concerned about, because this, they wanted £100. Well, $100 US. So, and that wasn't including shipping. So I messaged her, and then that was yesterday, and then went on this morning to have a look to see if she'd replied, and the flipping thing had sold already. So I missed it. I was like, oh, for goodness sake, I didn't even get an answer. It had sold that quick. It was very expensive. I'd have probably had to take a small mortgage out to be able to afford it. but it's Clara, folks. It's Clara. And I wanted it. But anyway, I will keep looking, and I'm sure eventually my persistence and annoyance of people will pay off, and I will find one. I don't know. I wish... I did message from Clara's website, I did message the sellers that do it, the supplier, is it the supplier or the seller, I don't know, and said, you know, have you got any available, is there anywhere I can get them from? And they said they're sold out worldwide. So I was like, marvellous, because they only print a limited supply of them. So it's my own fault. I remember when I was looking for, sorry, this is Beige Sienna, when I was looking for Fairy Celebrations, I could have had it then, and I didn't because of the cost of it, but had I have known how much I would love it, I would have got it. It's so frustrating when you get these beautiful books, and I wish these publishers wouldn't do it. I'm just going in with a little bit of Seashell Pink. Well, like the Mouse Guard. I mean, everybody's desperate to get hold of the Mouse Guard. Everybody would like to colour in it, and you can't get it anymore. Why? Just why? I'd love to colour the Mouse Guard on the channel, but what is the point if people can't at least think to themselves, oh, I'm going to join in and colour that with Lucy, you know? So that was white, a little bit of 10% French grey. So that's my little rant. Okay, that's quite cool. I quite like that. It doesn't need to be over the top in this book, I don't think. Just, I'm still using the 10%. I think the simpler the better in here. There, okay. Little bit of white, little apron dress. Isn't that cute? And the paper loves the Prismas, by the way, in case you were wondering. Right. I might try and cover that line up a little bit more. I don't know if it will. I might have to go in with a... Thule art or something. Although I didn't want to put anything like that on the book because I want to just make sure that it has archival properties, folks. So I'm just putting a little bit more of the light umber down. Just in places I think would make more sense. Okay, don't want to overdo it. Just going to deepen this up. So you can see how lightly I'm going. This is light umber, and I'm just really just tickling the paper. A bit heavy-handed there. I'm just going to knock a little bit of that back with white. and just blend that through. There we are. Give it a bit of a brush off. Okay, then we've got, what have we got now? The blue. Okay, so the blue of her top, I thought we could use, and these them, I thought we could use, I'm just going to sharpen them as I tell you, so light blue violet, because I want a sort of bluey grey. Light blue violet, put that there. Blue slate, which is sort of very, it's got quite a bit of grey in it. And then I've got 20% French grey, and then we're going to use the 10% as well. And white. There. Right, so let me just recap on that. It is Violet Lake, Blue Slate, 20% French Grey, 10% French Grey and white. And I'll move her up so you can see. So what I'm going to do is go again in with my 10% French Grey, and I'm going to put that really lightly over the whole thing. So we get that grey undertone. And any spaces that I've got a little bit of grey in, and then I can go in with white and put some highlights in. Okay. Right, now I'm going to go in with our darkest, which is Violet Lake, and I'm going to go in where I want those shadows. I'm just trying to put it where I know you can see. So I'm going to have it darker under here. And I'll put it in lightly to start with, and then I can deepen it up when I'm happy with the colour placement. They look like they would be little puffy sleeves to me in there. So we'll just make some little puffy. I can't believe that half term is almost over. I mean, what the heck is going on? Where is my life going? It's just disappearing in front of my eyes. Do you find that, folks? That time is just... It's like it's... I don't know. I think the older you get, do you find that time passes quicker? Do you find that? You know, like 20 years ago, everything... I seemed to have to wait for everything, and I was really rubbish at being patient. And then all of a sudden it's like everything's racing past, and I find myself at knocking on the door of 50. Good grief. Okay, so blue slate now. So we're going to go back in like we normally do, and we'll bring that out onto a little puffy sleeve there. Bring that out round here. Now, I'm thinking that I'm going to make this quite delicate looking, so I'm just going to go really lightly. Make sure I've got it covered, but go in lightly. Okay. Now, before I go any further, I'm going to put some white in. So I'm going to keep that bit white. Like that. Just so our little sleeves look a bit puffy. And then we'll have some... maybe light a bit like that. Okay, let's go back in with our dark colour. So Blue Violet Lake. And will deepen that up. So as you can see, it's not going to be dark, it's going to be quite delicate. And putting that white down will help to do that. Okay, then I'm going to go back in with blue slate. Where's my brush? Now, those of you that are skilled at it, you could do this with watercolours, and I really enjoyed doing that last time. But I just wanted to see how the paper would cope with just pencils. And this was a good one to do it because there's lots of little delicate bits in here. In this picture, like all the petals we've got to do. Okay, so I'm going to go in now with my 10% French grey and use that to blend and smush those blues. And it'll also help to sort of unite the skirt and the top together. Okay. I need to maybe go, what colour have I got in my hand? No. I'm wondering whether to go, we're just going to go the Blue Violet Lake again. It's like I said, I didn't want to go dark, but I do want some colour in there. Go, and then back in, so we've only got the two blues, so I'm now in with the lightest one. Okay, I think it needs just a little bit tidying up there. You know, you have to faff, but that's the beauty of pages like this, I think. I can faff and add my own little spiel to it. There we are. I could, right, oh, what about that? Light cerulean blue. Let's add that on, see if that. Ooh, yeah, pretty. That's better. That's better. There we go, and then back in with the 10% French grey, and let's just smooth that through. So that was light cerulean blue that's done that. That's better. So we've got some colour now. There we go. Okay, so I'm just going to, I've got Diet Coke by the side of me. I'm just going to go and make myself a hot cup of tea, and then I'll be back. So if you'd give me 2 minutes, I won't be long. Okay, so I've been and had my cup of tea, back to my Diet Coke. So as you can see, this is how mine is, and then the original image. So I don't want them exactly the same. I just use it for a little bit of inspiration. And I'm actually thinking that a later time I might just darken up some of that blue, just in the shadows. I'll think about it. So hair colour, I'm going to use the same colours as I'm going to use for the tree, because she's got brown in the picture, so we're going to do that. So I'll bring you in, and I've got from darkest to lightest, I've got dark umber, light umber, you can tell I love that combination. I've got burnt ochre, I've got sand, and I've got 20% warm grey. So let's go in with the 20% warm grey. So that will help me. I'm going to put that where I want my dark bits, I think. And I'm not going to worry too much about hair strands and stuff like that. I'm just doing it to enjoy the process. And these little petals I'll probably go over with, I will use my Tooly Arts, I'm going to have to, I think. We'll put the whole thing, can you see? Yes. We'll put the 20% warm grey over her entire hair, like that. And then we can start to bring that up a little bit. Okay. So let's go in with our dark umber now. At least it'll cover the lines, they annoy me. I want it to look like it's my artwork. Okay, so I'm just flicking in this dark umber. Bring that up a bit. So I'm going to do it like this instead of flicks. I'm colouring up and down. There we go. And I've not pressed hard at all, as you can see the grain of the paper still coming through. Then I'm going to switch to my light umber. And we're going to backtrack like we always do and bring that up. And then in the picture they've left like a highlighted bit round here. So I'm just going to bring that division of her little ponytail up. Right, so now I'm going to put in the burnt ochre. I'm pulling that down through everything. Come up the top there. Alright. And then we're going to have a little bit of sand coming through here. So if I put that sand in now, that will stop any of it getting too dark. Alright. Okay, so let's now try back in with our dark umber. So let's get that division going on. Can you see? So I'm just colouring in around there, then pulling that dark umber up. Probably should have done her skin first, but okay. Dark umber, light umber, burnt ochre, yeah, burnt ochre. Again, I'm going over those petals. I'd rather have tidy colouring and have to put paint pen on it than try and go round it. Then I'm going to blend through with the sand. And then I can see what I need to change. So I'm going to go back in with the light umber over that because I don't like how red that's come through, but just really lightly. I don't want to take it away, I want that hint of it, but just not so, maybe not so obvious. So I'm going to change direction and give our hair a little bit of a flow from the centre of her parting. There we go. Alright, and then we're going to take a little bit of black if I can find it. Oh, look at that, there you go. Yep, black. So I'm going to take a little bit of black actually. I'm going to put that in. Okay, I'm going to go back in with the light umber. I know it's a lot of faffing, but okay. Let's do a pigtail. So I'm going to turn around here so that the little plaits are the right way round, and I'm going in with dark umber, and I'm going to pull out the bottom of each of them as best I can. Can you see? Like that. And then dark umber will come down on this bit of plait here. Okay, and then we'll run through our other colours. So we'll put, we could have a bit down the centre as well of the dark umber. I don't think we're going to need to be super precise with this. What's next? That's dark umber. Let's a tiny bit of light umber. And then I think I'm going to leave some patches white like that. Not there. It's light umber. Just for a bit of shine on it. And then we can put some sand in this bit. A little bit of sand to pull that light umber up and give us a nice highlight. Okay, now we've got all that in place, we can just go over where the darkest bits are and just put in the burnt ochre, just so it matches the rest of her hair, leaving those highlights in place. There, little plaits. This is dark umber again. I'm just going to put those plait shapes back in, because Prisma, it can get lost when you get lost in all the blending. Okay, that's one side. So we're going to do the same side. The other side the same. Let's do her skin. So of course I've got light peach here. We haven't got a lot of skin on this one. So a bit of light peach, and here we've got, I think that's it. There's a tiny bit of leg. So light peach. Super easy skin then this one's going to be, isn't it? I've got to find my stubby little, there it is, under my keyboard. Stubby little cream. I do have a replacement, but I just want to use these down to as far as I can go. A little bit of cream in there. And then back in. Okay, a little bit of leg. Alright, then I'm going to take burnt ochre. Just going to sharpen it, because these are such tiny spaces. Okay, a little bit of burnt ochre, and let's just put a tiny bit of shadow in there. We'll have a little bit around her sleeve here. Oh, it might be a bit darker. And around the bottom of her hand. Just bring that up slightly more. Okay, and then we'll go back to our light peach and we'll use that to blend the whole thing through. I have to say, if you are interested in getting this book, next time I do it will definitely be with a watercolour base. And I'm just thinking to myself, I am an idiot, because I could have brought out my new Faber-Castell Albert Durers to do this with in this book, because the pencils don't respond as nicely as they do when you put down water. You'd think it would, because the paper's almost like card, but getting a little bit of white. A little bit of white in there. Okay. So what I'm going to do, actually, let me see. Blender. I've got a Derwent blender here. Make sure it's clean. And I'm just going to... Oh, that's better. Oh, it likes that. It's because there's a lot of... there is an awful lot of texture on the paper. There we go. That's better. Okay, just going back in with the burnt ochre a little bit more. That's better. Now I've put the blender on it. But yeah, I would go in with water. In fact, I might, when we do the flowers, just get a pink watercolour. Right, it's probably a bit late now, but there we are. And then I'm just going to go straight to the blender with that. And let's try just smushing that in together. There we go. Alright. Give it a brush off. There we go. I'm going to leave it at that, otherwise I'm going to mess her up. Okay. Put that burnt ochre back with my wood colours. I'm going to go and finish the other side of her hair, and then we'll meet back up. Alright, my lovely friend, see you in a sec. Okay, finished her hair and tidied up her dress a little bit more, just a bit, you know, blending. I didn't use any different colours. It's the next day, the sun is shining, it just feels really spring-like, which is perfect, this page. And the thumb is infected. The blister that was on it is infected, so I have let the fluid out, but oh my goodness. So if I'm holding my pencil even more thumb out, you know why. So I do apologise in advance. So let's come in and have a look at this tree. What I am going to do for this tree is I am going to do the branches. That's what I'm looking for. I'm going to colour the branches in pencil, and then I'm going to put a little bit of very light watercolour pink over these. Let that dry, and then we'll do pencil over the top. It should look beautiful. So dark umber, light umber, burnt ochre, sand, and maybe a little bit of black, but it depends on spacing. So I'm going to go in with our dark umber first. So do apologise for the thumb, but I cannot put any pressure on that bit. It's a good job I colour like this, isn't it? The majority of the time. Otherwise, oh my gosh, I can't imagine not being able to do colouring. I would be so desperately upset. So I'm just going in with a little bit of this dark umber. Turning it round so I make sure I get a sharp point on the pencil. Like this. Now for me this is a lovely relaxing video that's been quite quick. For you I expect it will still be a very long video, so I hope you enjoy it. And I know, I'm not sure whether people watch, I know the views are less if it's not like a popular, oh, I can't hold my pencil properly, if it's not a popular colouring book, but this one should be. if it's not. Do you know what I mean? It's just so special. I can't describe, light umber, I can't describe just how beautiful it is. The other one I wanted to get back out is Forest Girl by Apol. When I first started colouring, well, probably not when I first started colouring, but I'd only been colouring a short while. I got Apol's Forest Girl book, and I hated the first page that I did in it. And I just sort of tend to put them away like in a huff, in my childlike state, and refuse to get them back out again for a bit. But it's all part of the journey, isn't it? You know, fluffing up, and you know, maybe I can go back in at a later date and rescue it, but I'd really like to do a page in there having done this. But I have been blessed with another load of incredible gifts. I mean, just absolutely blessed. This is burnt, did I say burnt ochre, because I'm wittering on. Burnt ochre. Now I'm going to go in with a tiny bit of sand. And just enhance some of those lighter areas. I hope you can see my thumb's not too much of a pain. Okay, that looks really cool. So I'm just now going to go in with the tiniest bit of black and give us some real definition in places, like round there. That looks like it would be a natural sort of little knot in the tree there, so we'll darken that up in there and there. I mean, maybe one good thing about having a oh my gosh, my words, having a immobilized thumb, shall we say, is that I'm going to have to slow my colouring down. So maybe that's not such a bad thing. And a little bit more of dark umber. Just sort of make it look raggedy and twisty. There we go. Isn't that cute? Those colours are lovely, aren't they? Okay, so dark umber again. So organise the thumb. I'm just going to put dark in there. Dark here. The other thing I wanted to talk to you about, if you don't mind, we're just going to go in, I'm not changing colour, I'm just doing the dark umber, is I have never ever completed a colouring book, and I would really love to. I've ordered Romantic Country twice, Romantic Country the second tale twice and fluffed it up, so I've now got a third copy on the way, which I'm very excited about. And I wondered how you felt about, you know, it'd have to be serious people because they'd get fed up, but, so you didn't get fed up, I mean. I wondered how you'd feel about us doing a whole book together. And I was thinking of doing that as membership. So, you know, we focused on a whole book to finish together. I would really like to be able to finish one, but that would depend on, you know, I don't know. It would depend on your responses, really. I'd like to do it as a membership. I'd like that membership for those of you that want it. And we could just do like a whole book colour along together, so that people on YouTube don't get bored with the same thing, but it as membership, it's something we've all chosen. I'm just going through the colours now, so that's burnt ochre. Only tiny space, so. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on that, because that is something I was thinking about, you know, in the 4 years that I've been colouring, and it's my YouTube anniversary next month, 4 years it'll be. In the 4 years that I've been doing it, I have never completed a book or even got close. Isn't that bad? So I'd really like to have one finished. So yeah, let me know your thoughts on that. Okay, there's our tree done. Now, I love to use my Derwent pastel set, but I don't want it as bright as that. So what I'm going to do is crack out the little medium watercolour set. Now, I don't think you can find these anymore on Amazon, but there are sets that have almost identical colours. So just sort of have a browse around. These are the colours, and that's more like what I'm thinking. Now, I know you can dull things down with water. I know that you can, you know, change the saturation of the colour, but I'd rather not mess about, and these watercolours are fabulous. So, it also has an awesome skin tone that it's a bit bright to start with, but when you mix it with some different colours. So I'm just going to put a little bit of, this is just a cheap water bottle from the garden centre. And I want not the fine tip one, I want a larger tipped. Here it is. So I've got my Derwent, and this is like the next sort of medium size one. I love these paint brushes. So I'm going to take my pink, which like that I think will be way too bright. So I do have the option of white, but I'm thinking if we just, without using the thumb, if I just water it down, let's have a go. So very watery. You'd be able to, if you've got watercolours, you'd be able to just mix this paint yourself. So I'm going to go in where I think the darkest areas would be to start with, and just sort of pull that out. And just follow Green Ivy's sort of instruction. We can add some other colour to it as well, which would be quite nice. Obviously I will go over with pencil, but I'm just going to pull this bit of paint I've got out on my brush, and we'll get different tones that way. It will get softer, and don't forget it will dry lighter than how I've put it down. And then we will put, like I say, pencil on the flowers. I'm just going to go in these spots here. Places that I want it darker first would make sense. And then the paint will get, as my water brush produces more water, the paint will get less and less. Now I know somebody was saying in the comments the other day, I do read them all, saying in the comments the other day that they tried everything but using Inktense and things, but it would go through the paper. Well, I had the same problem when I was colouring, and it's usually the amount of water that it won't in this book, but the amount of water that your water brush is putting out. I had some cheap sort of generic water brushes. I really liked using them, but they put out too much water and it would bleed through all my pages. So I then invested in, well actually I did invest in this Derwent brush. They're incredible. Love them to bits. You know, the control of water you have is really good. The other thing you can do is, if you really like your water brushes that you've already got, your water like these that you've already got, is use that brush that you're used to and enjoy using, and just a little cup of water, so you can just sort of tab it out. You don't need to, honestly, you don't need to have luxury supplies. It's just that I'm all in, what do they call it, bougie? Yeah, I know there's a lot of us. So now I'm just literally using what's left on my tray with water. I'm going to pull that out, soften those edges, because I don't put backgrounds. I'm not going to put backgrounds in this book. I don't think it's necessary. I'm going to put a tiny bit more. I'm going to water it down to high heaven. Here we go. And just bring that illusion of pink out. Now I'm going to do the same down here in her apron. I know we've got pencil on it, but it will go over it. There we go. And then I'm going to do the same down here under her feet, because that in the book is pink too, where she's standing on all the fallen cherry blossoms. So I need more paint than that. So I'm going to put that in and drag it out, and then obviously pencil will go over the top. It's not just going to stay like this. I'm just going to water it, take some colour off my brush, pull that out, put more colour on my brush, and we'll go under our little kitty friend. There we go. And that, my dear lovelies, is as much as I'm doing with the watercolour. Now, the important thing here is that wherever we have put watercolour down, it is allowed to dry completely. So, the only bit I've got that's dry on this page that we can tackle at the moment is the little kitty cat. So, he's black. And he's always the same kitty cat in the book. So I'm going to take black, I'm going to take a bit of espresso and a bit of, let's try 50% warm grey. So I'm going to go in with black. Now in the book they've indicated that this side of our kitty cat is the darkest. So I'm going in with black here. I'm going over that petal. I cannot be doing with that. I can always, what might be a nice idea, just thinking, is splatter. You could splatter some different colours in there. Bring that down. And that would look like falling blossoms too. But already, that tree just looks so good. With just that little bit of colour on it. So, can you see? Yeah. So it's Friday and I've got the little fella coming to stay. He's been away with his daddy. They've had a lovely time by all accounts, so I'm suspecting that he will be absolutely full of it. That was black, now I'm going in with a bit of espresso. Have a bit of tone in our cat rather than just him being flat. We'll go back over, as always. And then we're going to try a little bit of 50% warm grey. I'm just going to do it lightly. Oh, yeah, quite like that. Okay, and then I'm going back in with my black. Cover up my little error there. And we'll just make him properly black in there. That's cute. Round his little butt off. Yeah, I adore this book. It's just such an incredible book. And I don't know if it's the simplicity of the art style. I don't know what it is. Or, well, I think it's a combination actually of things. I think it's the simplicity of the art style. The fact that I've got a coloured picture that helps me out. I don't have to think about colours. One of the reasons why I'm reaching for Prisma is because I know the Prisma colours and I can sort of try. You get an idea, don't you, of how they mix and what colours to use to get those tones and things. The paper, the fact that it's hardback, the fact that it's unusual. So there's our little kitty cat. I can keep going and darken up this side if I want to, but He's quite nice as a little smoky being. There we are. All right. So, oh, we've got the boots. We are going to do her boots in the same colours because they're very dark in the picture, but probably less black than the cat. So I'm going to start with the black. I'm going to go, I hope you can see, and my thumb doesn't spoil it for you. I'm going to go in there. This is black. Oh, with the thumb. Okay. Going to do the same on this side, so a little bit there, under a bit of dark in there, and the sole of her shoe. They're very clumpy boots, aren't they, for a very delicate little lady, but maybe she's working, I don't know, perhaps she's collecting petals for perfume or something. I don't know. Espresso. Did you ever do that when you were children? Me and my sister used to do that all the time. Collect petals and try and make perfume. Rose petals usually. Not having a clue that you'd have to add different ingredients to it to keep it. Yeah, but we did all the time. Concoctions and potions. Okay, and we'll go in a little with our grey. So we've got a lot less of the black on this, on her shoes. I think the other thing is as well, it's quite loose, so you don't have to be so precise with your colouring. You know, you can just be free with it. It's just so lovely. Okay. There we go. I think they're her wellies, aren't they? Wellington boots. Just going to go in with a little bit more black. Define that sole a bit more. There we go, we'll do it on that one. Nevertheless, they are quite clumpy. There we go. Alright, I'm going to take a bit of 10% French grey and I'm just going to lighten up where I can, a couple of bits. There we go. Alright, and step away. Now that's still very wet. So I'm going to take Posca, white Posca. I'm not sure if it's archival white Posca, but I want to bring out her petticoat. So I'm taking out the bottom line of the dress. And we'll take out the frill. So I'm just sort of dotting that. And then I'm going to put a tiny bit, like we did with the wedding dress, I'm going to put a tiny bit of blue in there. Very pale blue. So I'm just sort of dotting that on so that it looks almost lacy, not a solid piece of material. Cup of tea time. So I've been out on rose patrol again this morning. Took my cup of tea out and had a look in the garden. And little Rose has got some new shoots on it as well. So it's fighting back, folks. My poor abused little Rose. Okay, have to let that dry. Right, so I'm going to come out and so you can see. Let me zoom you. I'm trying to use my opposite hand and it doesn't work. I haven't got a clue where I'm going. Oh, That's the thumb business. There you go. So already she's adorable. I've just got to let the Posca dry. Let the paint dry, and we'll come back and just do some light pencil work on these just to bring it out. I'm thinking we'll sort of add some different colour, well, I have got different colour pinks, maybe some peach, and we'll just see how that comes out. But at the moment I'm thrilled to bits with her. I think she looks lovely. Alright folks, I'll see you when the page is dry. Oh, sorry about that, that was a nice surprise, the husband's home early. So okay, so we've got a bit of salmon. Let's move, I'm just going to put them to the side, the ones that we've used. And now let's do some processed red, because there's some very bright ones in there too. But other than that folks, that I think is pretty much it. That's what we're going to be doing, is just filling this tree up with pink blossom. So nothing skillful, just following the little shape of the flowers we've been given. And if they're not got much shape to them, I'm just going to pull them out myself, you know, pull the shape out a little bit myself. Easy. So we'll put some processed red. I'm not going to put too much processed red in because it's very bright, but it will lift the tree when we get the other colours in. So on no rhyme or reason really, I'm just going to fill up. So processed red, we've got salmon pink, processed red. I'm now going to go in with, I'm going to go in with a tiny little bit of a black cherry, really tiny bit. We'll just have a few where it might be sort of darker, like under the branches. Like that. And then we can mix that with a little bit of processed red. Let's bring out that flower shape. There we go. What else do we want? Pink. Yeah, pink. And then what I'm going to do, I'm thinking, is some white, just some little white Posca dots in the tree, just make it look a little bit more delicate. I'm just coming down here, same process. So I'm not going to go through the whole thing with you, but I'm going to use all the colours. So I will put all of them on screen. I'm going to be very sparing with that black raspberry, although it does look quite cool in the dark, black grape, sorry. It does look quite cool in the black spaces, especially then if you just get a touch of processed red over it. So just very sparingly. So you know what's coming. I'm going to go off and use all the colours, and the only ones I'm going to mix, I think, is the black grape with the processed red, but I probably won't put any more of that on. I'll probably just leave it like that, and then I'm going to go through all the rest of the colours. So I will go and fill that up. Oh, actually, what we could do before I go off is the bottom down here. So I'm going to take a little bit of, let's do a little bit of hot pink to start with. Can you see? Yeah. So I'm just going to bring out the shadow under her feet a bit. With that hot pink. And under our little cat. Be careful not to drag that black in. Like that. Around his little butt. There we go. Right, so that's hot pink. Then we're going to go in, I think I'm going to add some peach, because that will change the tone up a little bit. And that's a really good sort of blossoms do have peach in them, don't they? So we'll mix a little bit of peach in there, in that shadow. Also help to blend it on this paper. So hot pink and peach. And then we're going to go in with some softer pink now. So I'm going to pick the lightest pink I've got, which is Deco Pink. And I'm going to use that to blend that through. I might even go over with some white because that's very bright. But bright's good. Right, let's get some white. Where's white? Hello. Oh my goodness, I have so many Prismas out on the desk. There we go. Hidden, been tucked away. Okay, so I'm going to just check my white's clean. I'm just going to round the edges. Well, in fact, let's just lighten up the whole thing. I think I'll take a Thule Art pen and just take out those patches. Why have I got an annoying dirty spot there? Just using the side of the pencil. Okay. And I think I'll just, on the side of the pencil, just go back in with that Deco Pink. Cover up that little black spot. What do you think, folks? I think that's very cute. Alright, I will meet you back up when the mammoth task of filling in all these flowers is done. I'll see you in a second. Okay folks, here's my mammoth task. Mine's a lot brighter than the original. But I want to see if I can take out those black lines. So I've got my Thule Art Earth set, Earth and Skin set. I love this set. And there is a really pale pink in here. Let me see. So they're all named and numbered on the back. And I think if we go for Piglet Pink, which is number 11, when I do, you have to make sure that the ball sticks. It will come in a minute, folks. And of course, the one I pick has to be stuck, doesn't it? Hang on, bear with me. I'm going to make a noise. There we go. Sometimes they just stick, so I just bang it on the desk and give it a good shake up. And then just on a scrap piece of paper, I just check that it's working properly, and it is. Now this will be very light compared to our pink, but I should be able to go over it. I'm just going to put that in, and then what I'm going to do is make sure I've got enough. I'm just going to take my paintbrush and make sure it's sort of just damp, so I'm just wiping it off on a cloth and just spread that out. What that does is smooths the paint, smooths the paint pen, and will allow us to get colour over the top of it. Like that. Absolutely ingenious, and gives a whole new dimension to be able to use our paint pens. which I just found by sheer accident. I was playing and I was trying to activate chalk pastel to see what would happen, just experimenting. And I'd put some paint pen down and it activated it. I don't know why it hadn't occurred to me sooner, considering they are paint, they're acrylic paint, that you might be able to manipulate them with water. So I took a bit too much off on there, but that's okay. So we have to just let that dry. It doesn't take long because you don't use much water. Now at the top here, don't have a fit, but I'm going to put some white in. I'm going to take my Posca pen, and in between the flowers I'm just going to dot some white. Make it look even more sort of blossomy. So I found that the best colours, I used them all, but the best colours were lilac, was it the lavender one? Yeah, lavender, hot pink and salmon worked the best. They showed up the best. But I used them all. So I'm just going to, this will really help to sort of lift it and bring out, hopefully bring out those flowers. I hope you can see that, the difference. Just sort of. I'm just trying to go in between them. You could, if you wanted, even do this with a different shade of pink, but I like the fact that the subtlety of the white just gives it that illusion of blossom. So I've loved this page. I absolutely adore this book. I've got the other one as well, which is 4 Seasons, and that is equally gorgeous. It's not hardback, but it's equally gorgeous. And I think if I'm correct, one of them, I think it might be that one, is more detailed than this book. So but I tried to bring you a quick Friday afternoon video, but none of my videos are quick, because the process of colouring is not quick. But I thoroughly enjoyed it. Just bring those dots down here into that very pale pink that we've got going on, and especially around here. I just think that really helps to give the illusion of blossom. I might put a little bit just over the flowers as well, actually. I do have the Tule art black and white. I've brought a couple of sets over the last few months. I'll show you when I do my beautiful gifts and show you the gifts that I've got. I have a few sets of the Tule arts and I absolutely love them. And the white and the black are absolutely outstanding. The only problem, as far as I'm concerned, is that they're not single, you can't buy them open stock, but I would think with the amount of colours and sets they've got out that that's probably going to follow, because they've really gone to town. There's like hundreds of colours. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 sets now, because I love them so much. And especially when I discovered that you could blend them with water. So I'm hoping that my theory, another blister I've just discovered, hoping that my theory is that they will come out with open stock for them, because there must be like, I don't know, 200 colours. I'm just going to town with dottage and I like it. And I can't stop. Somebody stop me. I think it's toned it down, and I also think that it's pulled it together more like Blossom. What do you think? I love it. Okay, I say step away while you can. Let's go back down here, and that has, I'm going to get my heat gun, but those lines have almost disappeared, so I don't even know if I'd need actually to put any colour on them. Right, if you've got headphones on, block your ears. Okay, all done. The heat tool I'm using is, I don't know, it doesn't even have a make on it, it just says heat gun, like that, just from Amazon. Nozzle will be hot, yes it will. Okay, so, let me see. I don't think I'm going to add anything to that. Look, if I lift it up instead of zooming in, there is a little bit an indication of lines, but actually I don't think I'm going to change it. The only one thing that I've got left that I said I was going to do is add a little tiny bit of blue into this petticoat down here, if it even shows. So trying to sharpen a pencil sharpener with a manky thumb is not fun either. Okay, let's just come in. So I've got, what have I picked up? Cloud blue, and I'm just going to circle some cloud blue in there. So we just get a bit of an illusion of white lace petticoat going on. Cute. And then if we add to the dottage of that, we can enhance that lace even more. Take out that harsh line that we've got with some dots. There we go. What do you think? I'm gonna stop playing because I'm gonna mess her up. I think I will have a little bit of white in there and some up here in her bow, just to sort of accentuate that a little bit more. Yeah, that works well. And time to step away. I'm probably going to just go over that. I might actually, let me get a damp paintbrush. I might just soften that Posca out. Right, so soften the Posca, and then I'm going to add a little bit of that 10% French grey, or 20% French grey, sorry. There we go. Just soften that, I want to soften that edge up where I'd put that white Posca line. There we go, that's better. What a difference one little thing makes. Much better. There we go. Right, now step away, Lucy. Okay, let's have a look. So like I said, don't do backgrounds in this book. Oh, I'm just trying to get you all so you can see it all. There you go. I'm thrilled. I love it. I absolutely love it. So it's the second one. I think I showed you the first one I did, didn't I? Which was the front cover, funnily enough. Yeah, the green door. And I changed her up to my own style. This one I've kept more similar, but I've brightened it up. It can be a bit drab, so I have brightened it up. So I love it. I hope you've enjoyed it. And if you're considering getting this book, it's gorgeous and I can't recommend it highly enough. So I'm going to let you go. I'm going to stop waffling. I'm going to go and get ready for the little fella and our Friday night party. And I will see you very soon. So until I do, take really good care of yourselves. Have a wonderful weekend and I'll see you very soon. Bye.